It is in this very spirit that we gather today to celebrate a remarkable and deeply inspiring initiative by our distinguished author, who has undertaken the formidable task of encapsulating a rich and eventful legal and taxation journey of 65 years of non-profit organizations within the pages of a single volume. Such an endeavor not only reflects dedication and perseverance, but also offers a valuable reservoir of insight for all who seek to learn and grow. May I now request Mr. D.M.Battad, Chairman, AIFTP South Zone, to deliver the welcome address.
Good evening, everyone. I am D.M.Battad, Chairman, Southern Zone, All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. It is an immense pleasure for me to welcome all of you at this a great function, which is our Chartered Accountant Sri Rangarajan. His books of inauguration on his books of new income tax law under NPOs. I respectfully invite and I respectfully call Hon'ble Mr. Justice C. Saravanan sir, Judge, Madras High Court, and a guest of honor Dr. D. Sudhakara Rao, IRS, Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Chennai. Welcome you, sir. And the felicitation person, Sri Maruthu Pandian, IRS Commissioner of Income Tax. And Sri Premanand, IRS Commissioner of Income Tax Exemptions, a right person at right zone. And our author, Sri R. Ramachandran, and distinguished members and his friends and the other eminent professionals. It is really honorable for the author which such a gathering is made here. A respectful homage given to our author Sri R. Ramachandran. I welcome you all in this occasion, and the further about the books and all, the eminent speakers will talk about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Chartered Accountant Mr. Venkatramani, National President, AIFTP, to address the gathering.
Good evening, distinguished guests, respected colleagues, dear friend, my chairman from South Zone, Battad. I also see the author V. Ramachandran. We have the guests of honor and the chief guest for today. It is a privilege to be digitally present as the president of the All India Federation of Tax Practitioners to celebrate the launch of a very significant and timely publication, Income Tax Provisions for NPOs, Journey from 1961 to 2025, authored by Sri R. Ramachandran. Let me extend my warmest congratulations to Sri Ramachandran. Writing a book is always an achievement, but writing on the income tax provisions, and that too covering a journey for more than 6 decades, is not just an achievement, Mr. Ramachandran. It is an act of courage. Most of us deal with amendments on the Finance Act, one at a time, but you have taken on 60 years in one go, and that 60 plus years in one go, and what an achievement. The title itself beautifully captures the essence of this work. It calls Journey, and what a journey it has been. From the early framework in 1961 to the dynamic compliance-driven regime of today, taxation of non-profit organizations has evolved immensely. At times I wonder whether the laws change so often or that even sections must be checking what is the latest amended version before applying themselves. allow me to share a small joke. I once met a trustee of a charitable organization who proudly told me, "We are doing everything selflessly for society, but when it comes to income tax compliance, we are completely helpless." He also added half jokingly, "We understand charity better than we understand Section 12A." So this is in a lighter spirit. The simple statement actually reflects a very large reality. NPOs are driven by noble intentions, but they operate in a framework that requires clarity, discipline, and technical understanding. This is precisely where the book like this becomes invaluable. It bridges the gap between intent and compliance, between goodwill and governance. Non-profit organizations play an extremely key role in nation building. They work at the grassroots level, often reaching areas where formal systems cannot. It is therefore essential that the tax framework governing these institutions is not only robust but also clearly understood. This publication exactly does that. It simplifies complexity, provides historical perspective, and offers practical guidance. At AIFTP, we believe in knowledge sharing, which is a foundation of professional excellence. Works like this contribute immensely to strengthening of our professional community and ensuring practitioners are better equipped to guide and support non-profit organizations. I must acknowledge the immense effort behind such a comprehensive work. Researching decades of amendments, judicial developments, and administrative changes is no easy task. It requires dedication, perseverance, and I must say, a special ability to stay friends with the Income Tax Act over a long period of time. On a lighter note, we all read income tax provisions to survive in our practice. Authors like Sri Ramachandran read them deeply enough to make sense out of them and then help the rest of us to do the same. I'm confident that this book will serve as a valuable resource not only for experienced professionals but also for young practitioners who are beginning their journey in their field. It will help them understand not just the provisions but the evolution and intent behind every single provision of the income tax law. As we formally launch this book today, I am certain it will make meaningful and lasting contribution to the profession and all those who are working in the non-profit sector of the income tax laws. Once again, my heartfelt congratulations to Sri R. Ramachandran and my best wishes for the success and wide reach of this publication. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
May I now request Mr. G. Bhaskar, Advocate, National Secretary General, AIFTP, to introduce the author and the book.
Good evening all. It gives me great pleasure to be part of this function to speak about this work by my good friend Sri R. Ramachandran, with whom I had a very long understanding and professional association. Over the years, I have known him as someone who does not approach the subject of taxation merely as a profession, but as a discipline to be constantly studied, understood, and shared. And this becomes even more important when we look at how practice has evolved today. In this digital era, all compliances, be it filing of return of income, audit reports, provisional or permanent registration, continuation of registration, are all done online, each with strict timelines to be adhered to. Despite best efforts, practitioners do miss their date here and there, and we find ourselves pursuing condemnation petitions before the CAT exemptions or before the CBDT. When those do not succeed, we approach the Hon'ble High Court as a last resort. A single judge of the Madras High Court has graciously granted relief, for which we remain thankful. And in one of the matters, the present division bench has also granted similar relief. but I wish to highlight that it is not a single case came from Mr. Ramachandran's office. As a team, he runs it very disciplined manner where compliances are followed meticulously, and that, in my view, speaks volumes about his professional standards. Now, coming to the core subject of assessment, this evening, the book Taxation of Non-Profit Organization is not an easy one. It involves layers of statutory provisions, frequent amendments, and evolving judicial interpretations. Many tend to look only at the present position of law. However, what truly strengthens the understanding is the journey of the law and as to how it evolved over a period of time. In this context, even though the old law now stands repealed, he has put in considerable effort to ensure that the reader understands the journey of the Income Tax Act, income tax provisions for NPOs from 1961 to 2025. In a popular Tamil movie, Imsai Arasan 23 Pulikesi, there will be a dialogue. Varalaru Mukkiyam Amaichare. History is important, Minister. Mr. Ramachandran might have heard that dialogue and they started this book. What is commendable is that he has brought out the historical developments in a manner that informs the reader without overwhelming, or more importantly, without putting the reader to sleep. This, in my view, is not a small achievement. What I particularly appreciate is that the book does not merely state the law, but explains in a manner that is useful for practice. The inclusion of summaries, practical questions, and references to judicial decisions shows a clear understanding of what professionals actually need. I am confident that this book will serve as useful and reliable reference for practitioners, administrators, and students alike. It is thoughtful contribution, and I congratulate, we fondly call him RR, on this work, and wish him continued success in his professional and academic endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The moment has arrived. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome Honorable Mr. Justice C. Saravanan, Judge of the Hon'ble Madras High Court, to release the book. May I request our Chief Guest, Honorable Mr. Justice C. Saravanan, to release the book, Income Tax Provisions for Non-Profit Organization, Journey from 1961 to 2025, and hand over the first copy of the book to our guest of honor, Dr. D. Sudhakara Rao, Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax.
Honorable Mr. Justice C. Saravanan is an eminent jurist with distinguished expertise in taxation, customs, and commercial laws. He graduated in law from the prestigious National Law School of India University in 1994, one of India's most premier institutes for legal education. Prior to his elevation to the bench, his lordship had a very successful and diverse legal practice spanning taxation, customs, company law, arbitration, civil and commercial litigation. Junior to senior advocate Shri Arvind P. Dattar, he was also associated with leading legal practitioners and reputed law firms, and later built an independent practice marked by depth, clarity, and professionalism. His lordship has also made notable academic contribution to the field of indirect taxation, including contribution to authoritative legal publications such as Guide to Central Excise, Law and Practice, authored by leading tax expert, Senior Advocate Shri Arvind Dattar. In recognition of his expertise and standing at the bar, Justice C. Saravanan was elevated as an additional judge of the Madras High Court in June 2018. Since then, his lordship has been rendering invaluable service on the bench, contributing significantly to the development of jurisprudence, particularly in tax and commercial laws, with well-reasoned and scholarly judgments. Known for his clarity of thought, practical approach, and deep understanding of fiscal statutes, his lordship commands immense respect among the bar, bench, and the academic community alike. We are deeply honored by your lordship's presence at this book release function on taxation. a subject that is very close to your domain of expertise. Your insights and guidance will undoubtedly enrich this occasion and inspire practitioners, academicians, and students alike. I request your Lordship to kindly address the gathering.
Dr. Sudhakara Rao, Chief Commissioner of Income Tax. Mr. Maruthu Pandian, Commissioner of Income Tax Appeals. Mr. Premanand, Commissioner of Income Tax Exemption. Author of the book and the hero of this evening, Mr. R. Ramachandran. Mr. Battad, Chairman of AIFT. Mr. Ramachandran, Chartered Account Author. Mr. Subramaniam, Secretary. Distinguished guests. Mr. Bhaskar, distinguished guests. Good evening to one and all. I'm indeed extremely happy to be present this evening among all of you this evening for release of this book, Income Tax Provisions for NPOs. A book like this will not only help the practitioners and students, but also judges like us who happen to have several cases on the subjects, particularly Income Tax Act, where the provisions are very complicated and the language adopted is very convoluted sometimes. Sometimes the provisions are so complex that it can disorient your line of thinking. And books like this will come handy, not only to the lawyers, but also to the members of the bar and the judiciary per se. I briefly went through the book. The author has done a commendable work mapping the provisions of the Income Tax Act for last 6.5 decades. That's a fantastic job by itself. I have myself been associated with Mr. Datar as his junior in his office, and I did work on his book, Guide to Central Excise, in the year 1998 and 2006. I know how arduous it is to write a book and to keep editing. Hats off to you, sir. It's a fantastic job. I'm sure this book will be useful not only for the people who are present here, but all the students and the practitioners, and will set a new benchmark in this field, income tax provisions for NPOs. This particular sector is a very important sector which contributes not only to the GDP but also generate employment in the country. Therefore, the benefit which is due to them should naturally go to them, and considering the fact that the provisions are very complex and convoluted, sometimes very difficult to understand, books like these will help the practitioners and others to come to a just conclusion to assist the court in case there's a dispute, or wherever the matters can be sorted out at the departmental level, the officers will themselves take note of the same and grant the relief to the assessee. My best wishes to Mr. Ramachandran on this book. May he write many more books. May this book also see many more editions. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, my lords, for your kind words. May I now request author, CA, Mr. R. Ramachandran, and Vice Chairman, AIFTP South Zone, Mr. Sendil Kumar, to honor our chief guest.
Dr. D. Sudhakara Rao, born on 15th August 1966 in Vuyuru, Andhra Pradesh, is a distinguished officer of the 1990 batch of the Indian Revenue Service and alumnus of Andhra Loyola College. He pursued higher studies at University of Hyderabad and completed his MPhil and PhD in Environmental Sciences from Jawaharlal Nehru University, along with an LLB from Osmania University. He began his career as Assistant Commissioner in Madurai and went on to serve across Chennai, Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Bengaluru. Widely recognized for his impactful work in the investigation wing, he led significant search and seizure operation uncovering major tax evasion. As Commissioner Appeals and later CITDR, his judicial acumen earned appreciation from the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. He also served as Commissioner Exemption for Karnataka and Goa, contributing to the important policy reforms. Elevated to Chief Commissioner in 2024 and Principal Chief Commissioner in 2026, he is admired for his integrity and leadership. His career reflects a rare blend of legal expertise, decisive leadership, and a proactive approach, leaving a lasting imprint on tax administration while continuing to shape an inspiring legacy. It is my pleasure to invite Dr. D. Sudhakara Rao, IRS Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, to address the gathering.
Honorable Justice Shri Saravanan sir, hero of the day, Mr. Ramachandran, the author of this book, Shri D.M.Battad, Chairman AIFTP, all my colleagues and distinguished guests, many of you known to me, Murali, Abhishek, Sadhguru, all other distinguished guests, good evening to you all. Vanakkam. It gives me immense pleasure to be part of this release of the book titled Income Tax Provisions for NPOs, Journey from 1961 to 2025, authored by C.A.R. Ramachandran, known as RR. Non-profit organizations, commonly known as NPOs, occupy a vital space in the socio-economic fabric of India. They serve as instruments of social transformation, advancing causes of education, healthcare, poverty alleviation, environmental protection, and empowerment of marginalized communities. In a nation striving to achieve inclusive growth and social justice, values deeply embedded in the vision of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the role of NPOs assumes greater significance. What the governments cannot do, sometimes could have not done, the NPOs do so many things for the welfare of the society. The taxation provisions governing non-profit organizations has been a little complex, frequently litigated. My colleagues would be knowing very well. The introduction of the Income Tax Act 2025, replacing the 6 decades old Act of 1961, has given rise to the requirements of a reliable and well researched professional literature on the subject. This book on the provisions relating to NPOs seeks to address the requirement to provide a clear and comprehensive understanding of the legal framework, procedural requirements, and emerging challenges. It is intended to serve as a useful guide not only for the administrators but also tax practitioners, policy makers, and all stakeholders engaged with the non-profit sector. A notable feature of this edition is the exhaustive comparative analysis of the Income Tax Act 1961 and the Income Tax Act 2025, spanning over 200 pages. This structured comparison serves as a valuable reference for ensuring clarity and compliance. The inclusion of chapters-wise tabular summaries, frequently asked questions, and a dedicated chapter examining landmark judicial pronouncements, including the Supreme Court's decisions in the Ahmedabad Urban Development Authority and new noble educational society cases further enhances the practical utility of this work. The incorporation of the amendments introduced by the Finance Act 2026 ensures that the publication remains current. I appreciate the efforts of Shri R.R. CA, who has immensely contributed to this work. His commitment and perseverance deserve special commendation. I am confident that this document will serve as a useful guide and inspire both tax practitioners and also tax administrators to enable them to act responsibly for the society. I convey my best wishes to the author of the book and declare the book is very useful and meaningful write-up. You have made it. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving guidance not only to the taxpayers but also to the tax administrators. Thank you. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Honorable Member Mr. M. Swaminathan, Vice President of Central Administrative Tribunal, to present a memento to Dr. D. Sudhakara Rao. Shri S. Maruthu Pandian is a distinguished officer of the Indian Revenue Services, currently serving as Commissioner of Income Tax Appeals. May I now request him to kindly say a few words to the August gathering.
Respected Honorable Justice Sri Saravanan sir, worthy of honor and respect, Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax Sudhakara Rao sir, National President AIFTP, my good friend author, professionals, tax administrators, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is indeed a honor to be part of this function, the launch of this book, Income Tax Provisions Relating to NPOs. At the outset, I extend my heartiest congratulations to the author, Sri Ramachandran. On a personal note, I had the honor of being the guest of honor for his previous release. That was 2 years back. Then I wished him he should write many more books. It's in that sense, it's gratifying that the journey is through, and he has come out with a comprehensive and a detailed structure. In fact, he in his foreword has said that Pulivala Puditha Kadai, Nayar, Pulivala Puditha Nayar. Yes, now that even the Nayar cannot live and Puli will also not live. The tiger and the author, both of them cannot live because the subject which he has touched is very complex. Given a chance that if I were to write a book, I will never choose this subject. And many of you know that. Why? A simple example, if I were to quote, definition of charitable activity is in 214. Simple. It's in the common parlance. How do we understand? We understand charity means relief to the poor, education, healthcare. Simply that's it. They have added something. The most dangerous part is the seventh limb, which is called GPU. Kandasamy sir is here. He is one of the stalwarts who had been on this subject, who had been writing a lot on this. Simply, it says that any activity of GPU is a charitable act. Simply straight. We have understood that much, yes. Then came the proviso. Proviso says you should not involve in trade, commerce or business. Straight, understood? I can advance GPU, General Public Utility, your lordship, but you cannot involve in trade, commerce or business, or rendering service for a fee in this trade, commerce or business. Straight away clear. But then comes the exception to this provision. What is that? Exception to the provision, where such activities undertaken should be in the course of achieving the GPU, and if the receipts of such activities do not exceed 20%. Array, yaar, what you only told that it is not, you should not use trade, commerce or business. Now what has happened? No. It is trade, commerce, business you can do, but you should do only in the course of achieving the objects, and your receipts should not exceed 20%. So this is the subject which we are dealing with, where for years we had been fighting on this subject. The book is, for me, has captured the historical perspective as to how this issue has evolved. That is where my hats off to the author, where he has very clearly brought out why it was introduced and how it was introduced, and he has ended up with ADA. ADA is Ahmedabad Urban Development Authority, where the landmark Supreme Court judgment has come. So kudos to you, Mr. Ramachandran, for bringing out in a capsule size. Even if you read the order, you won't understand. Take it for granted. I think he is laughing, our Kansami sir is laughing. If you read the order, you won't get it anything. And in the same way, this Noble Educational Society also, there the concept of solely educational activity had been brought out. Solely means solely, exclusively, and not predominantly. Predominantly was the earlier stand where the high courts have taken, but after the Noble New Education Society, it is solely. So this, he has given it in a capsule size to us, so that we as administrator is a ready reference not only for the not only for the tax professionals like previous speakers have said, it's for us also. Because we as officers, we work on a tenure basis at exemptions. Beyond that exemption service tenure, we don't have any chance of looking into it. And there are not much write-ups on this subject, especially from the south, no. I think the Kansami has written on some GST. I think this is the thing which we can, in a common parlance, we can understand. So in that manner, it is really a good book, and I wish him, the Pandora box had been opened, like in exemption, one instance which my younger brother Premanand is also there. New Noble Society is with respect to education, and it is with respect to 1023C(6) solely. But it has imported the meaning. We have imported it to 215 also. I started this, I wanted that definition should be imported to 215 education also. So I think so many litigations are now pending at the ITAT level, and your lordship will also get it in due course after the ITAT. So in that sense, this book will be the guiding force and a beacon of hope for us as to understand the larger scheme of things. And the pasture is green, the author is also ready. As and when the judgments come, I think he will keep on writing. Thank you for this opportunity. I wish that your book will be widely read and well appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. D. Anand, Advocate, President, Revenue Bar Association, to present a memento to Mr. Maruthu Pandian. May I now request Senior Standing Counsel Mr.J. Narayan Sami to present a shawl to Mr. Sri S. Maruthu Pandian. Thank you, sir. Sri J. Premanand is a senior officer of the Indian Revenue Services, currently serving as Commissioner of Income Tax Exemption, Chennai. I now request him to say a few words.
Honorable Justice C. Saravanan sir, Head of our Income Tax family, Sudhakara Rao sir, Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, my dear senior colleague Mr. Maruthu, Honorable Judicial Member of the CAT, Mr. Swaminathan, and other dignitaries. It's a star. It's a constellation of stars, I must say. I have so many people known. I consider this to be a family occasion because I have been living with these people for the last about 11 months, I must say. And before I take the name of the author, the family of the author, because everyone was talking about the hero, but there is a heroine also who has contributed equally to this book, and through Ramachandran. I mean, learn about an author through the book, but I learned about the book through the author. They are my reference points. So the title of the book is The Journey of Income Tax Provisions for NPOs from 1961 to 2025. But I do not know how many would say the title is slightly wrong because he has touched 2026 also. He has included the circular number 1 of 2026 also in the addendum. Now it is as Honorable Justice was mentioning, that it is a very difficult, convoluted provisions of the Income Tax Act. It's very difficult. I mean, Income Tax Act, many practitioners are there. If I have to give a quiz, many will not be able to tell me how many provisions explanations are there in Section 1023C. There are about 24 provisos to Section 1023C. And the third proviso has 7 explanations. And the second explanation to the third proviso of Section 1023C has got 8 other provisos. You take Section 11, you have 13 explanations and 16 provisos. So this is how the journey has been all these years. That is what has been brought into this book. I was just reading the preface in this first launch soon after our late eminent professional Mr. T.N. Manoharan had told Mr. Ramachandran, you should not stop with this 200 pages book. I just saw it was 180 pages. You should go for 400 pages. Now he has brought it 510. And we wanted all this, the income tax provisions related to trust. I mean, we call it trust because otherwise it is, you have societies and also Section 8 companies. Now it is all brought under NPOs, are spread out in 5 different chapters. Now everything has been brought into one place. So we had 5 different chapters, and as I explained about 1023C, how it used to be. Now we have it in only 24 sections. Very concisely it has been brought into provisions related to registrations, and you have what does income mean, what is for the compliance, what is for the violation, and end of the day one for ATG old approval, what is the registration for that, and one for definitions. And in the similar manner, the book is very neatly structured, starting from 215 and then going in the same order, and then comparing it with the 2025 Act 1961 and what is there in 2025 Act. So it is why we consider this as our respected guest of honor, our Principal Chief Commissioner Sudhakara Rao sir has mentioned, that without the charitable institutions, the country could have not progressed till date. Now, we do not get everything in numbers. GDP is just a number, but development is something beyond GDP. So, we consider it as very, very important organ of this particular society. So, courts have said, as I said, this is a family. Sometimes we may have some fight, we come to you. Otherwise, largely, we have to understand these provisions are for some for the benefit of the people. So when they say there is a dilemma, courts have always interpreted that whenever there is a beneficial provision, you have to interpret it liberally. But in this case, this is a provision which is for the benefit of the people, has to be interpreted very strictly. And without the numbers will not give what it is. The balance sheet will not tell what exactly is this behind this particular charitable trust. If I have to have one balance sheet presented before me, it will have lab receipts, etc., administrative charges, vehicle expenses, etc. On the right hand side and vehicle expense on the left hand side, and they say we want charitable. It will look like as if it is a GPU. But this is how a balance sheet or a income and expenditure account of a blood bank will look like. So where is this blood accounted for? It is not accounted for anywhere. So that is how we have to go beyond the number. So we take, every time it's a new understanding. We have the new law which is AUDA. All these amendments are not for stopping any kind of what I call misadventures of the taxpayers. Amendments have been for the benefit of the people also. 1046A came after AUDA. It is all for something for the benefit of we understand, government very well clearly understands that there is a need for this part of the society for it to prosper. AUDA, every time you read it is a different meaning. Thanks to Dr. Kandaswamy. So he has been very patiently sitting with me around 10:30, 11 in the night, going through that again and again and making me understand. I understand through him. I have a doubt, immediately I will call Mr. Ramachandran. I will be calling many people whenever I have a doubt. And it is a new understanding. Every time we read a particular paragraph again and again. And the one who was trying to convince me will get convinced of my understanding. So that is how the law is all about. So our endeavor is to ensure that 510 pages comes back to some reasonable level of 250 or something, because we have reduced the sections also to that extent. Not only that, we wish we do not have any disputes that to be discussed in the book in the future. So, and it's a great understanding with which we can carry from 1961 for those who will be entering the profession afresh, both from the income tax department and also from the professional side. They should know the history and why these amendments have come and how it has been. And I'm very sure that this will be a very great reference, sir. And for me, sir, I did not learn the provision when I came to this section. First day, on the day when I got my orders, I called my brother, Mr. Maruthu Pandian. What is this section? What is this? That is so. So for me, like a child who was thrown into the well and say you swim, you learn. That is how I learned. But it has been an excellent journey for me, and I'm very thankful for all the people who are present here, who have made my journey a little more smoother and who have made us understand things well. And Mr. Ramachandran is very particular. When we discuss something, he says, yes, this is not done. That is how. Go back to my statement. No, you know author through the book, but here I know the book through the author. Congratulations to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. May I request Chartered Accountant Mr. Bhupati to honor Mr. Premanand with a memento and a bouquet. I also invite Mr. K. Subramanya, Secretary AIFTP South Zone, to felicitate Shri J. Premanand with a shawl. Thank you, sir. I now request Mr. R. Swaminathan, brother of the author, Mr. R. Ramachandran, to share his thoughts.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, and my dear friends and our dear family members, a very good evening to all of you. It's a great pleasure to stand in front of you And when my younger brother is being appreciated, whichever field he has chosen, and he has been excelling year after year. So, hearty congratulations to you, Ramachandran. I have a special message sent by our Kudumba தலைவர் தகைசால் தமிழர் தலைவர் ஆசிரியர் ஐயா அவர்களுடைய வாழ்த்து செய்தியை உங்களிடம் படிப்பதில் நான் மகிழ்ச்சி கொள்கிறேன். Our dear beloved Ramachandran, அன்பு வாழ்த்துக்கள். Thanks for your personal invitation. Our best wishes and hearty greetings on the occasion. I am immensely pleased to go through your new book, Income Tax Provisions for NPOs. The book is very instructive to all types of readers. I am very proud to congratulate you on this historical occasion. Earlier you were our ward. Now, due to your phenomenal growth, you have blossomed as our mentor. Asir Aya is telling. Your hidden ability to teach the subject is now a proven one. Your potentiality is best known and ever growing. Wishing you to win many more laurels and reach new heights. With this, I wish you all the very best, Ramachandran.
Thank you, sir. I now request Shri V.S. Jayakumar, Senior Advocate, to say a few words.
Honorable Mr. Justice Saravanan, Judge of the Madras High Court, Mr. Sudhakara Rao, PCCIT, Mr. Muthu Pandian, CIT Appeals, Mr.J, Premanand, CIT Exemption, Mr. Swaminathan, Vice President of CAT, Mr. Battad, Chairman of Southern Zone All India Federation, distinguished Bhupati, Shekhar, Das, and all known and unknown faces in this crowd. And all of you must have done some charity at home. The first confusion I have in the Income Tax Act is Section 214. It only says charitable purpose. It does not say charitable object. Now, in the last proviso, it says object of general public utility. I was present at the time of Auda judgments. There were three concepts which had created a problem. First concept is what is income. Second concept is what is profit. Third one was what is consideration. So profit, everybody knows, is net income, etc., etc. Income, of course, anything income, even a toss of a coin can be an income or expenditure. When it comes to consideration, luckily Supreme Court did not say anything in Auda judgment. It is open to constitutional validity later on. Now, at the outset, I am very happy to be part of this book launch function, and I consider myself fortunate to be present here and to offer my congratulations to the author, my good friend, C.R. Ramachandran. He is called RR by all of us. Department also calls them RR. When it comes to court, it's Revenue Recovery Act. So I hope they show some charity to both sides to take home the spirit of the meeting. This book is an extension of his earlier works, containing a summary of provisions in a tabular form and detailed frequent answered questions at the end of each chapter and sections contained therein. The author had to face 3 or 4 hurdles as I see it. He has to face the 1922 Act, which is buried. 1961 is saying its repeal to get buried only after 60 years, because we read section 536 of the new Act. First line says repeal. There are 13 subsections, without prejudice, notwithstanding, and General Clauses Act. All sorts of, I would say, confusion is created under 536. So next 60 years, you'll remember 1961 Act. Maybe you'll remember 1922 Act for a couple of maybe months or years. And 1925 New Act, I think until most of us are alive, we will remember that, without any amendment. This Finance Act 2025 has brought in 128 amendments. I don't know how they can amend something which is not even born. A child is not even born is named. And they also go back to retrospective amendment here and there by circulars and so on. So this is the 3 hurdles my learned friend has to go through. And the easy way to remember the new Income Tax Act is a tax year law. When it comes to other years, previous years, last year. So I had different issues before different courts, different judges as to what do you mean by last year, what do you mean by previous year, what do you mean by current year, what is the financial year, what is assessment year, and then say last year. The judge said, don't confuse me. So now at least there's only one language. Tax year I can confuse the judges even now. If they reopen the assessment for a tax year, how many assessment years you have to go back or how many tax years you go back is a matter of debate. Now, what does this author do? According to me, he takes this principle which of a lighthouse. In the lighthouse, it warns ships of dangerous areas and guide them safely to the destination. In essence, the lighthouse serves three main functions: warning, and also it gives guiding, and it gives you identifying. Now, what the author has done is that he adopts this lighthouse principle. First, he gives a warning and alert the assessees involving the time frame for compliances with the law in all three income tax acts, old, present, and future. And he's also covered board circulars, several judgments, and so on and so forth. And second, he guides the assessees after identifying the safe steps they need to take to sail through the three laws. Lastly, to help the assessees know exactly where they are and enable them to avail the exemptions and registration. In a nutshell, the author identifies the patterns to navigate between the hurdles and uncertainties at each level. In all fairness, the book also guides, warns, identifies the tax authorities how they should be alert and pass suitable orders within the time frame given. To illustrate what I'm saying about, I refer two examples from the book. Example at page number 78, the author points out the major compliance tightening of it occurred in 2016, which is mandatory form filing rules, changes made from 2021 to 2023, dealing with the corpus and borrowed fund restrictions, and after 2023, deemed income to be taxed at 30%. Example number 2, key remarks on page number 364 deals with the synopsis of the topic on time-bound process, distinction by application type, flexibility and prescribed form, and clarity for applicants, etc. Thus, the author tells us what the lawyers are and where to find them. It is Abraham Lincoln once said, a lawyer need not know law, but he should know where the law is. So this book was very handy to me when I had to look into for different provisions, old, present, and new. Very handy. He gave it to me in circulation. I'm leaking the information to you. He gave me about a month ago. It is very useful to me to argue a case. Yeah. So what is the take home for this book to all of us? The take home for us from this book launch is what Lord Moham said, I quote, "There is always a possibility of finding in the twists and turns of the income tax maze some relief or refuge for the harassed taxpayer, and this possibility we must now examine," unquote. Hence, it is for each one of us present here to read this book and make the best use of it and find out the twists and turns and get some relief or refuge, as Lord Moham said. In the end, I wish to say this book gives clarity and is an effective guide to navigate the hurdles and uncertainties in this transitional period of income tax jurisprudence. Thank you and best wishes to the author. I also wish him to write many more such books in the future which will be useful to the taxpayer and administrators, not necessarily in that transitional period, but in the routine. I wish we do it much more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Chartered Accountant Mr. R. Ramachandran graduated from Loyola College, Madras University in the year 1982. He underwent articleship with B.B. Naidu & Co. from the year 1983 to 1986, where he learnt nuances of audit from the illustrious late B.B. Naidu, a born teacher, late B. Surender, and Mr. A. Sekar. Qualified in the year 1987, he set up practice in the year 1987 along with his friends who studied together in B.B. Naidu & Co. He established a branch in the year 2017 at Tirupur. This is his third book on income tax provisions. May I now request the star of the day, the author, Chartered Accountant, Mr. R. Ramachandran, to address the gathering.
மரியாதைக்குரிய நீதியரசர் திரு சரவணன் அவர்களே, முதன்மை தலைமை ஆணையர் முனைவர் சுதாகர் ராவ் அவர்களே, வருமான வரி ஆணையர்கள் திரு மருது பாண்டியன், திரு பிரேமானந்த் அவர்களே, AIFTP அமைப்பின் தலைவர், செயலாளர் மற்றும் உறுப்பினர்களே, நம் அழைப்பினை ஏற்று வருகை புரிந்துள்ள வருமான வரித்துறையில் பணிபுரியும் ஆணையர்கள், முதன்மை ஆணையர்கள், மேலாள் முதன்மை ஆணையர்கள், இதர நண்பர்களே வணக்கம். Before I respond to the comments and observations from the dignitaries, I would like to thank Sri G. Bhaskar, Secretary General of AIFTP, for having come forward to organize this book launch on behalf of AIFTP. Mr. Bhaskar and myself are friends for more than 30 years. We have long-standing professional family relationship. Thank to Sri P. N. Manogaran for having introduced Bhaskar to me. Most of the judgment pronounced by Justice Saravanan will fall under category of landmark judgments. If someone revises the book title Landmark Judgment compiled by Sri S. Rajanathanam, his judgment will find a place. He is very well known to many of the chartered accountants and advocates practicing tax matters. Thank you very much for accepting our request, sir, and spare your time and thoughts. Thank you for your kind words expressed, honoring me with a shawl also. Thanks to our Principal Chief Commissioner Income Tax, Dr. D. Sudhakara Rao, for having accepted our request to be guest of honor and receive the first copy of the book from our Honorable Justice, sir. I am grateful to him not only for being present here, but also having penned forward for the book within a very short time. The common factor amongst the Principal Chief Commissioner and other two dignitaries who have felicitated are all of them worked in the Exemption Circle. In fact, Principal Chief Commissioner worked as Director of Income Tax Exemption, Hyderabad. Those who are in practice are aware that Exemption Circle was known as Trust Circle 3 decades back. In the recent past, 3 commissioners have made their presence felt, and impressions are Sri Debendrakar, who could not come here today, he had gone to Bombay, Sri Maruthu Pandian and Sri Premanand. All of them ensured that all genuine NPOs are granted registration, but at the same time, none of the ingenuine NPOs are spared. Now, in this particular year, Sri Premanand, being the Commissioner in Income Tax Exemption, was entrusted with the task of renewing the registration for more than 30,000 assessees. He has done it with great elan. Yes, Maruthu Pandian sir, I will continue to write. Mr. Premanand was mentioning that he used to discuss with me on many occasions. In fact, I have learned a lot from during the discussions. Thanks to each and every one of you who have guided me and continue to guide me for growing in profession. In my preface, I have mentioned all of them, but due to paucity of time, I am not repeating. Mr. Bhaskar gave me only 5 minutes. When I commenced writing my first book, one of my colleagues, C.A. Pari, was the first one to give me the confidence and inputs. I am thankful to C.A.V. Ramnath from Coimbatore for having given a foreword and also a lot of inputs and suggestions for improvement of the contents of this edition. In fact, he has gone through line by line item, offered his comments. In all my endeavor of publishing, being an author, I received constant support from 2 of my students. One is Jivanandam, another is my student Damodaram. But for them, this publication would not have been a reality. They carried out my instructions effectively. I request Mr. A. Shekhar to honor one of the students. And Mr. Sadguru Das, once again, thanks to all of you for having come in large numbers, especially from tax department, who are working and who were working in the retired from and other members in AIFTP. Thanks to the management of this hotel company, MD, Managing Director Kavita Singhana Madam and Chairperson Aarti Agarwal Madam for providing this hall with great ambience. Thanks to Sri Bajpai, CEO of the Express newspapers, for having flown from Mumbai to attend this event on behalf of the management. Thanks to Srimati Geeta Shomashekar, the GM of the hotel, for being the host, expecting her to provide executive dinner. Thanks to media for covering the event. Thanks to Mr. Sujit for having designed the invite and backdrop. Today being the birth anniversary of Sri T. N. Manogaran, we remembering him with reverence. We recognize the presence of whom I know, so what I could see from where I could see here, Sri Rajiv Ghota, former Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, Reverend Sister Maria Ratnam, General Reader, Medical Mission Secular Institute, Germany. She has come from Chetpat. CA Shekhar, CA R. Bhupati, CA M. Kandasamy, Commissioner of Income Tax Rajan, Sanjay Mehta from Surana and Surana, Dr. V. Anbaraj from Periyar University, some members of Southern India Regional Council, A.S. Paneer Selvam, Readers Editor, Hindu, S. Mohan, President, Society Auditors. Would request you to join for the dinner at second floor after a vote of thanks. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now request Mr. K. Subramanya, Secretary AIFTP South Zone, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. At the outset, I would like to thank Honorable Mr. Justice C. Saravanan sir on behalf of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. I am duty bound to tender my great thanks to sir for being here, for being a guest of honor today. And also I would like to thank Dr. D. Sudhakara Rao, IRS, Principal Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, for being here, for gracing this occasion with your presence. Thank you. And I would like to also thank Sri S. Maruthu Pandian, IRS, Commissioner of Income Tax Appeals, for being here, sir. Thank you. Sri J. Premanand, IRS, for being here. Thank you so much. And also, I would like to thank our Chairman, South Zone, All India Federation of Tax Practitioners, Sir D.M.Battad, sir, for being here. Thank you. And also, all the dignitaries and the eminent personalities who have gathered here for this great occasion. Last but not the least, I would like to congratulate and also would like to give on behalf of our association a great thanks to the author, the hero of the evening, Sri R. Ramachandran, for this great piece of work, sir. And the principle of mutuality will always be there for all together. Thank you so much.
Mr. Ramachandran, you said I gave you only 5 minutes. I intended to start the session by 6:30 and end it at 7:45. Now you check your timing.
Thank you, sir. The book is now available for purchase in the stall outside. We request all of you to join us for dinner after the event. May I request the audience to raise for the national anthem.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे